Do I seriously have the same birthday as Tim Pool? That's pretty.
I
that's
gotta
pretty
look
funny,
that up.
so.
Like, when is Tim Pool's birthday? Hold on, like Tim Pool's birthday.
Mine's the 8th. Mine is the 8th. So yesterday.
March 9th of, and
so,
he's
so 1 day apart. 1 day
oh,
apart.
Tim Pool is born my year too. So he's an 86 guy too. Tim Pool is like a couple months older than me. So
wow.
yeah, he looks old as fuck. So actually, let me transition here because I really want to know the reason. So I like, since you've been doing Cobracast IRL, our audience has like immediately overlapped. Like, and this has been one of the biggest things. So I just want to know what gave you, like, was it Eliza Blue that gave you the idea to do Cobracast IRL?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you go into the thought process?
Yeah, so the whole Eliza Blue thing was much like, so I got caught up in the Jack Murphy stuff as well. So
Wait,
Jack Murphy blocked me.
Whoa, please be specific. Okay, just for blocking.
The content, the grifting, okay off of Jack Murphy being being an interesting topic.
You were not on chat roulette with him. You were not 69ing for 69.
There was no 69 for 69. So I covered that a lot. So for some reason, I have nothing against Tim Pool. I like Tim Pool in terms of I respect what he's done. This has become a meme where I say I respect Tim Pool because I do respect Tim Pool. I do. I don't really like his content, but I like his show. I don't like him, but I like his show. Does that make sense? Yeah. I think he puts on a good show. He's good at what he does. I don't like his fence riding at all. And but the Jack Murphy stuff, when that thing broke, I covered it a lot on my channel. I didn't do as good as the quartering, but I did okay from my perspective. Got a lot of views.
We all grifted off that one. Let me just be honest. We were all riding the beard for a while.
And my big issue with that was that Tim would just never address it, like, at all. And it's like, bro, he was on your show consistently, grifting off your audience. No hate.
Number one.
It is.
Number one guest. Number one.
Yes, and so the fact that he just never acknowledged it bothered me. So I kind of went in on Tim after that a little bit and kind of had some fun with it until it just became a thing or whatever. Okay, moved on. Then the Eliza Blue thing happened. Now, I have talked a little bit. I know you've talked a little bit about this topic too, and you probably have a lot more insight than I do. But the Andrew Tate situation, I've followed a little bit of the Andrew Tate stuff, and I'm very skeptical of a lot of this stuff based on what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing. And it all goes back to the fact that he got banned from social media, and they never gave a reason why. And I didn't know who he was when that happened. But she was on Tim Pool.
Hold on. When he got banned by social media, you did not know. You had never heard about.
I didn't know Andrew Tate until he got banned. That's when I learned who he was, and then I realized, like, well, who is this guy? And it made me interested. So I saw like some of his hot takes. I'm like, ooh, this guy, yeah, he really is a misogynist. But then I looked more into his longer form stuff, and I'm like, no, he's not actually. This guy's pretty fucking knows his stuff. He's obviously putting the gimmick on and the manosphere shit, but he's really intelligent. And so anyway.
It's kayfabe. You know, if you ever heard of like kayfabe, it's sort of kayfabe. He knows what he's doing to get the clip. He knows to generate the clip, and then he gets you in the long form content, and then sell you, right? And then people can argue on the ethics of selling people stuff, right? That's a capitalism argument, right? Is money bad or good? Is there value in something? We can get into that argument, but I mean, he was doing it with a method in mind, and his whole goal was to be famous. He's always expressed that his goal was to be famous, and he accomplished that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so so then Eliza Blue, who was someone I had known about in terms of I'd seen her on Twitter, obviously her and Elon's interactions. She was always kind of in my feed on Twitter, but I didn't know who she was. I saw people praising her for her brave stances and all this bullshit. Like, all right, cool. Maybe she's some whatever. A lot of conservatives, a lot of right-leaning people were always praising her. It didn't matter to me.
She was on everybody's channel. I'm surprised she wasn't on fucking Geeks and Gamers and on Friday Night Types or something. I mean,
she was everywhere, but I had never spoken with her. And then she went on Tim Pool one night, and she got absolutely annihilated in his chat when she brought up the Andrew Tate stuff, because she was basically saying that she's spoken with the victims and their survivors, and the chat was like, what the fuck? And then Tim called her out on it, and she goes, I believe all the survivors. And it just felt really left-wing, Me Too bullshit. So that is literally quintessentially believe all women. I mean, it is
100% believe all women. And the reason why she has to have that take was exposed because her story is illegit. So if she doesn't keep that party line of believe all survivors, then her own story is subject to being questioned, which is what happened.
Right. And so I'm watching all this unfold, and then Tim, his whole chat was getting hijacked from people wanting him to talk about the Eliza Blue thing, and he ignored it. Then he pulled the whole, well, we were going to have the quartering on to talk about it, but he no-showed, so we can't talk about it. I'm like, when the fuck have you ever canceled topics because a guest couldn't show up. That is bullshit. You are lying your ass off. Then he pulled the whole, we're sending our investigative reporter out to talk about it. But then the clips came of Shane Cashman talking with Eliza on the show. And he's like, I love you, Eliza. I respect you. And I'm like, this isn't an investigative reporter. This is a fanboy. And so then I kept covering it on my channel because it kept getting worse and worse. And then it got to a point where I don't remember specifically what happened, but one night I was like, I think I should just do Cobracast IRL as a fucking meme, just a one-off, just Cobracast IRL. I'm gonna put then one of my followers memed me with the Tim Pool thing with the Jack Murphy beard. I'm like, that's a fucking great thumbnail.
Golden. And, it's a golden thumbnail, like right in the middle. It's everything. It's Tim Pool, it's the Murphy, and it just and people now know, like, you don't even need to know Murphy anymore. If you see the skunk beard, you know what's up. Like, you immediately know what's going on here.
Yes. And so a couple of things were going on at that time. So when I first started Geeks and Gamers, I was the solo person on there, and I did solo live streams, and that's how I built my fan base, and we built the audience. And as the channel grew, I've moved Geeks and Gamers into more of what my bigger vision was, which was not to be Jeremy centric, to be about the team. And through that process over the last couple of years, I feel that I've lost a lot of my personality and my fan base as an individual, and to more build the overall brand, which is always what I wanted to do. But people like Jay, and I'm going to give him credit, Drunk 3PO, he would always tell me, he's like, Jeremy, man, when I followed you in the beginning, you used to annihilate people on Twitter. You used to go live and roast them. And he's, I miss that version of you. I'm like, I know, man, but like, I'm kind of in a different space in terms of like wanting to build the name and everything. But when this Cobracast thing happened and the response, like, I had like 2,000 people watching that first stream, and people just went crazy, and the memes were rolling in, and the gimmicks were rolling in. And I was feeling that old school kind of 2019 Jeremy mentality. And I saw the response from people. And it's like, guys, do you want me to do this like again? And they were like, yes, please do it again. Do it tomorrow. I'm like, okay. I mean, yeah, I guess I could try to do it one more time. And then I did it again, and 3,000 people showed up. Now, at that time, I was picking up off the Tim Pool stuff because he had shut it down to member chat only. So I was really leaning in. I'm like, you don't have to come to my chat and pay money. You can chat for free, and you can talk shit about me, and just all that. And so now it's kind of leveling out, and we're pulling good numbers. And we've got new artwork, and it's a thing. Like, Cobracast is a thing. I probably will drop the IRL at some point because I feel like it's just way too on the nose. But at the same time, maybe I won't, because fuck you, Tim Pool. So I don't know. So anyway, so it's kind of moving beyond the Tim Pool stuff now, and it's its own show, and it's becoming its own thing. But the audience made that show, and I'm really appreciative of that. So it's been a blast. It really has. It's been a blast.
Yeah. I mean, if you need an alternative thumbnail, if that ever gets tired, I think the memers have already come up with a great one right here. You've got a solid alternative right here.
Canadian Bear. Oh, God. Oh, man.